What's up, guys? I'm back again today. We're gonna go over the warhammer. It's similar to the great axe. It's a pure strength weapon, two-handed weapon, um, but it's a bit different. Talents really set it apart from what the great axe does. So I think they might be um, decent complementary weapons. I don't know if it kind of seems from people's opinions that they might struggle as like a combo together, just because two-handed weapons are slower and I believe they're easily countered by maybe the hatchet or rapier. So just take that into consideration. But anyways, let's jump in and see what the Warhammer has to offer. So we're back with newworldfans.com. We're on their build section and we're taking a look at the Warhammer. We'll go over the three abilities in each of the trees here, and then I'll kind of go over the strengths and what the passives bring to the abilities and to the tree itself. And then I'll kind of finish with my thoughts on where the weapon fits into the game. But yeah, let's dive in. So we've got Armor Breaker, Mighty Gavel, and Wrecking Ball. Armor Breaker, what it's similar to Reap. It reaches out, pokes, no pull effect, however, and it's a 35% armor penetrator. It's a really strong, great added benefit to this ability. And then it does 120% weapon damage, pretty decent. 12-second cooldown. This might deal more damage than the other abilities in the tree, just because of its short cooldown, but it may not be your hardest hitting ability. And then of course you can buff it up with grit. That's great. Lasting trauma. It's a it applies a rend, right? 20% rend, really strong. Basically makes the target take 20% more damage, but it only lasts for 2 seconds. So you really have to combo this with one of your other abilities, right? Just 1, 2. So really a little bit of skill added to that aspect, for the rend aspect at least, right? And then of course, if someone's at full health, it'll do 15% more damage. So that's really nice. Just encourages you to start with this as an opener. Just a decent added benefit overall. Jumping down though, Mighty Gavel. This is similar to Execute. It's an overhead smackdown, right? 22-second cooldown, so it's a bit longer. It's almost twice as long as Armor Breaker. 120% weapon damage, so actually same damage, but you don't have the added benefit of armor pen, things like that. So, but you can buff it up, give it an Execute kind of element. Does 20% increased damage, below 30% health on the target. That's okay, nothing too great, but I think it's nice. And then increased stamina damage done by Mighty Gavel attack by 25%. That is nice. It actually pairs well with one of the passives to kind of keep people drained of stamina. Expedite, after a successful Mighty Gavel attack, gain haste, so you're getting your 30% sprint, just like a rogue, for 3 seconds. Really strong. And then of course the ultimate on Juggernaut actually ties into this ability as one of its passives, and what it does is it adds a chain effect to the weapon. So you hit Mighty Gavel, follow up with a left mouse button while you're swinging it. I'd probably spam the hell out of it, and it's going to do another attack. Doesn't say here how much, but we'll find out soon enough, right? And then of course we've got Wrecking Ball. It's a third ability here. This one's interesting. It says that it flattens the enemy, 100% weapon damage, 15-second cooldown. I'm not sure what flatten means. I don't know if that means stun, because as a stun, it applies stun to all impact targets for 1.7. So it doesn't really read the same here. I'm not sure what flatten does, but you can get a 20% damage resistance bonus, 4 to 5 for 4 seconds. That's great. It's super strong. And then you can knock everyone that's hit by this back 2 meters. So kind of a moderate zoning ability here potentially. Very a lot of potential. We just really have to see what happens, right? And that's really the 3 abilities here. I am going to go over the passives real quick. So there's some added armor pin, standard attacks. You can apply exhaust, right? It's a debuff, and this adds into the stamina, like kind of leeching away people's stamina ability to get away from you. It's really nice. And then of course we've got hammer time. So there is like a seemingly a focus of heavy attacks with this build. Gain 10% in power on a heavy attack. Under 30%, your heavy attacks are going to do a little bit more damage. For 1 second after taking damage, you deal 20%. So that's kind of, they plan on you being up in the 5 cores, being a brawler. And then cooldowns are reduced by 7% with heavy attacks. So that's great as well. None of these really stand out. They're kind of lackluster, but they're solid picks nonetheless. I just don't know, like, looking at other weapons, there's just I heard someone say it once before, it leaves a lot to be desired. So, but anyway, I'm not sure how to feel about Juggernaut tree, but let's take a look at Crowd Crusher here. Start clear out, right? Reset all these. So clear out, it's a wide swing that knocks enemies back 4 meters. So you can actually see this in the Outpost Rush video that they put out a little while back, like a 3-4 minute video. Buddy charges in or some runs in and he just clobbers the heck out of like 3 or 4 dudes and throws them back, and it's really epic. This is going to be a really fun spell just to CC the heck out of people. So it's awesome. Then you got Power Cleaner. Oh, it does 120% damage or 110%, and it's on a 15-second cooldown. So it's kind of moderate weapon damage, moderate cooldown. Nothing that stands out. Hitting a target will give you fortify, or it gives 10% fortify for 4 seconds to all friendlies within 6 meters. So this, you can maybe cheese a little bit with, or kind of like cheese some big AoE damage if there's any kind of expedition fights where there's a big unavoidable damage. Just have everyone stack up, smack that. That's interesting, at least from the PvE standpoint, right? You can reduce the cooldown 5% per enemy hit. Yeah, it's kind of a theme here. It doesn't seem like a super wild, but I mean, if you're hitting 5 targets, that's 25% reduction in cooldown. That's actually has potential with an AoE build, right? And then of course swing away. This is just gonna get, it's similar to the expedite here, just gives you a sprint for 3 seconds. Great added benefit to anything melee to try and help you keep on your target. Let's move down to Shockwave though. This is the spell. That's probably the best spell in Juggernaut. I'm just gonna say it. It's a 3 meter radius, right? You can actually extend it to 4 meters, and it's an AoE 90% damage stun, right? 1.75 seconds. It's a decent amount of time. It's on 20-second cooldown. You can also though apply weaken to all the targets hit, right? So when they come out of it, they're doing a little bit less damage for 5 seconds. That's really solid, right? Great benefit. It's just great utility, right? This is what would make this great for your back bar, and just pull it out, smack the hell out of everyone, stun them. But Path of Destiny. This one is also very interesting. It seems to be really slow to cast, right? One that's like the slowest cast times in the game. But you can, from my understanding, I think they changed it so you can correct it a little bit more in the swing, right? You can kind of swing and then hit, right? But what it does, it's one of the, I think it's the largest spell effect of any melee weapon, and it slows people with stagger here, or seismic waves, right? And 125% weapon damage, 22-second cooldown, so it is long. You gotta make it count, but you're gonna be able to hit a lot of people, especially in 50v50 outpost rush, things like that. And then of course another 5% reduction per enemy hit. That's it's decent. Let's go over the passives though. So a little bit more of like a defensive focus here. getting some more elemental armor for every target around you. That's really strong, but elemental and physical. You're blocking. You can kind of use this as defensive to block melees, and you're gonna be able to block a lot more. It's actually a really nice. It doesn't seem like it, but I think once people are having to deal with like a lot of mobs on them or a lot of like targets, blocking it gives you a breather for a moment, you know. Guarded spear, reduce damage taken while sprinting 10%. That's always great, right? Reduce warhammer cooldowns by 7% when using light attacks against targets with an active debuff. That's a decent one. Because you're on this build, you're not maybe as focused on heavy attacks. You could go with light attack focus here, and then let's see here, 15% damage against targets affected by warhammer. It's, you know, another great passive just for added damage. Another haste just based off targets with debuffs, which you should be able to keep up pretty decent, right? This one is nice. However, you gain 35% health from the abilities, right? And if you're hitting a lot of targets, maybe they don't hit that hard, but if you're hitting a lot of targets, right, you should see some good return on your investment there. But yeah, and then another light attack buff here. What it does is every 2 attacks, it's a 5-second cooldown, but every 2 attacks you can remove debuffs from yourself, so you're kind of keeping yourself purged while you're in there just whacking at everybody. So that I believe is actually a really good option as well. And then just to kind of cap it off, we've got the ultimate here, Aftershock. This is the bread, or the icing on the cake rather. All of your abilities, right? They apply 20%. All of the crowd crusher abilities will apply 20% slow for 4 seconds, and that right there is what just extra helps you be a great CC machine. So, but that's the breakdown of the Warhammer. Overall, I think if I were to use it, I'd use it as a back bar. I'd use it, put it on my back. I'd use the crowd crusher pretty much always, because I plan on pulling AoE. If I'm going to run the Great Axe, right, I'm going to be pulling AoE a lot. So I want to run some crowd crusher with it, right? Do some CC. It might be fun, and it allows you to just purely go like heavy gear almost, and strength, and just be kind of that brawler, right? You're not really a tank, because you could even take this into dungeons and not be a tank. Or you could be a backup tank, it's whatever. But Juggernaut, however, I do think leaves a lot to be desired, right? I think it could stand to just have a little bit more identity. The Crowd Crusher really does stand out. I think it's fine. I do think maybe the weapon itself, from what people say, it can't hit very well. So maybe if they could add some extra range to it, right? Give me, instead of like a little T-ball baseball bat, like let me get like one of the major league bats, man. Let me, I think I'm ready for it, coach. But anyways, that's really all I have today. If you have any thoughts, ideas, what you think might pair well with this, I'd love to know in the comments below. If you liked the video, be sure to thumbs it up. And if you want to see more content like this, I do plan on making more as time goes on, similar to this and other things as well, right? But I do plan to focus on New World. I want to call it my home moving forward. So yeah, be sure to subscribe if if that's something you're looking for. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.